From treating boxing enthusiasts to a dream match like no other, to the winner of the bout earning bragging rights. Here's why Devin Haney versus fearless Shakur Stevenson needs to happen. First things first, let's talk about how this is a showdown that fans would love to see. It's not often that two of the hottest names in the sport fight at the same weight class, but luckily for boxing enthusiasts, that's exactly the case right now. And we can thank Fearless for that, as he moved up to lightweight in April 2023. Shakur ruled the featherweight and super featherweight divisions before taking his talents to 135. And sure enough, he looks just as OP at lightweight as he destroyed Shuichiro Yoshino in 6 rounds. Haney, on the other hand, defeated almost everyone at 135, including guys like George Kambosos Jr., Jorge Linares, and even Vasily Lomachenko. So let's be real, Stevenson versus the Dream is the fight to make. Both men are at the top of their game as they've taken down countless opponents, earning themselves superstar status in the process. And when two phenoms collide, it's the fans who win, because such matchups are always certified bangers. So that's why every follower of the sport's dying to see both men face off. But of course, we all know how boxing works. Fans rarely get the fights they want to see, but if Top Rank can give the people what they want, then not only will boxing enthusiasts be over the moon, but their faith in boxing might be restored. That being said, it's not only about the fans, because Devin needs a win against Shakur to take his legacy to the next level. Sure, the Dream has an insane record, but a lot of those wins didn't come against the best boxers. In fact, it wasn't until his 20th bout that he started fighting elite guys. Plus, even though he came out on top against Loma, almost everyone claimed that Vasily got robbed. So despite getting the W, Haney's legacy took a hit after the fight. And that's the last thing any athlete wants, but if he's determined to show the boxing world what he's really made of, then he needs to accept yet another tough challenge. And a match against Fearless is going to be exactly that. So the undisputed champ needs to push for the fight, and if he secures the win, then everyone will have no choice but to put respect on his name. What's more, besides Shakur, the only other opponent that the Dream's interested in facing at lightweight is Gervonta Davis. But here's the thing, a lot of fans believe that Tank's too tough an opponent for Devin. That being said, if Haney fights Stevenson first and bags the W, then there's no doubt in my mind that he'll be ready to take on Davis. And if Devin defeats him as well, nobody can question his place at the top of the mountain. But at the same time, I've got to talk about what's at stake for Shakur as well. After all, this fight's equally important for him. Even though his debut at lightweight was spectacular, that doesn't change the fact that Fearless barely has any experience at 135. And no matter how great of a fighter he is, you could argue that he's not ready for such a massive matchup at lightweight just yet. That being said, it's not like he doesn't stand a chance against Haney. Plus, there's so much for him to gain from this bout. Besides all of the clout and money, a fight against Devin also gives Shakur the chance to become the undisputed lightweight champ. And if Stevenson can do that, he'll achieve triple champ status. Sheesh. What's more, a win in such a monumental fight would go a long way in cementing Fearless as one of the greatest to ever do it. So yeah, let's just say there's a lot at stake here. To make matters more entertaining, both men have been talking mad trash about each other. So buckle up, because I'm going to tell you everything they've said so far. Their rivalry got especially heated after Shakur called out the Dream following his KO victory over Yoshino. Stevenson told Haney to bring it on and added that he's been waiting to fight Devin for a long time. The undisputed champ responded to this by saying that he was glad Shakur called him out, but he didn't waste any time before patting himself on the back. Devin claimed that he can beat every lightweight because he's levels above his competition and the king at 135. The Dream followed this up by dissing Stevenson for fighting an unknown boxer, arguing that Shuichiro had no business even being in the same ring as the former featherweight champ. Haney called their fight a mismatch and reminded everyone that, unlike Shakur, he fights Hall of Famers like the Matrix. Ouch. But this was only a sign of things to come. Because after the Dream's controversial victory over Lomachenko, the trash talk only got better. Following the fight, Fearless made his way into the ring and shared a moment with Haney. The champ told Stevenson that he's number one, but the former super featherweight clapped back and said, "For now, bro." Immediately after that, he argued that Vasily should be the undisputed champion. According to Shakur, Loma deserved the win because he landed the cleaner shots and pushed the pace. But since Dev won the fight, Stevenson called him out once again, adding that he's ready to show the world how much better he is than the Dream. But that's not all. The former super featherweight even said that the undisputed champ and his team were scared. Why? Because they didn't stay in the ring with him for a face-off, man. These guys just can't stop running their mouths, huh? But the time for talking's over, and everyone wants to see them slug it out in the ring already. So now I've got to address the elephant in the room. Will the bout even happen? Nothing's official yet, but I'd say there's a good chance we'll see both men clashing sooner rather than later. Shakur is obviously hell-bent on making the fight happen, though Devin said that he'd like Fearless to beat more opponents at 135 first. But worry not, boxing fans, because Stevenson has a trick up his sleeve. A fan asked the former featherweight champ if he planned on activating his mandatory status for the Haney fight, and he replied to that by saying, "For sure, my team's already on it." But this brings me to my next question. Who's going to come out on top? Here's the thing. Both men are fantastic boxers, so it's hard to give one fighter the edge over the other. Haney has some of the best jabs in the game as he throws them with so much finesse and speed, leaving his foes dazed. Not to mention, his signature body jab's one of the deadliest weapons in his arsenal, and so are his counterpunches. What's more, Haney's defense is phenomenal, as he uses shoulder rolls, waist movement, roll hooks, and even slip punches to avoid attacks from his opponent. Then, on the other hand, there's Shakur with his powerful punches. I mean, just look at how he annihilated Yoshino, Jamel Herring, and Alberto Guevara. On top of that, he has insane combos, and since he doesn't telegraph his punches one bit, the combinations are super effective. Plus, both men have unmatched confidence, terrific IQ, and phenomenal cardio, so it's hard to give the edge to one over the other. That being said, most fans are backing Shakur and believe that he can get the job done against the Dream. And they're not the only ones who are favoring Stevenson in the potential bout. In fact, even the man himself, Terrence Crawford, is. According to him, ain't nobody beating Shakur. After that, Bud called him special because of how he can adapt to every fighter, and finished by adding that the former featherweight champ's just all around a great fighter. Either way, no matter what anyone says, we can't know the outcome until they finally fight. But one thing's for sure, whoever comes out on top will earn ultimate bragging rights. You see, when Stevenson called out Haney in April 2023, he mentioned that both men have been in the ring with each other for years and claimed that he always got the best of Devin. But when the undisputed champ responded, he explained that their sparring sessions weren't one-sided, since there was a lot of back and forth. Not to mention, the boxers were both under 18 at the time, so they weren't nearly as developed as they currently are. That's why Haney believes there's no point in acting like those sessions meant anything, and honestly, it's hard to disagree with him on that. Either way, there's no way of knowing who the more dominant fighter was back then. But when they finally face off, we'll get to see who the superior boxer is right now. And the man who picks up the W is going to be able to shove their victory in the loser's face like there's no tomorrow. Considering everything they've said so far, I'm sure both men are dying to do exactly that. So, from the winner of the bout earning bragging rights to boxing enthusiasts being treated to a dream match like no other, this was why Devin Haney versus Shakur Stevenson needs to happen.